What's going on, Blues? Welcome back to Life as an Evertonian. This is going to be our pre-match preview for the game against Sunderland this weekend at 12:15 at the Hill Dickinson Stadium. The FA Cup tie. It's going to be a tough game. And we're also going to cover, the final summary of the 1-1 draw last night against Wolverhampton Wanderers. Just, killing two birds with one stone. Don't want to produce tons of needless content for you to watch. You can just watch it all in one piece of content today. Because listen, we've had a lot of games this week, and Everton have had games where I think we thought even this depleted Everton squad was going to pick up more points in this period. And we've wanted players to step up to that mantle, to be knocking on the door of knowing when Keenan Dewsbury-Hall and Idrissa Gana Gueye comes back and Ilian Jai, there's going to be players in to come and take their spot. And it's not happened, Blues. It's not. I feel awful when I call players out, but Dwight McNeil, for me, he's not up to it. I think, and do you know what, Blues? I think in this period now, even though we probably knew anyway, it just confirms it. We've learned that this squad is still 7 players off from trying to push into that European contention. And obviously, at the beginning of this season, how it's been for us over the last 3 seasons, the kid in the sweet shop, Mashiri, over the last 6 seasons. I think we would have been expecting that Everton going to be around, well, me personally, between 9th and 12th. And we're around that mark halfway through the season. But I feel, obviously, we know that there's been games that have come. Like, I think we are disappointed that we've only picked up 5 points. The draw against Burnley was poor. I feel like we took some positives from there with Tyler Diblin. I thought he did another decent performance as well against Forest, and we showed such grit and determination to get the result there. Such a dogs of war performance, and we've probably been asking for the defensive partnership going forward after the Forest game, and it's not happened. We've reverted back again to Jake O'Brien at right back. So yeah, then obviously we have Brentford, and I think obviously they're showing how well they're playing they basically smashed Sunderland last night 3-0. So they're showing how good they are, because we know how good Sunderland are. They pretty much dominated us for at least 60 minutes on their patch at Sunderland. I think Everton did enough to be 1 or 2, well, at least 2 up, maybe 3 up in the first 20 minutes, but we just didn't take our chances. So, Brentford obviously really showing how good they are. Igor Thiago on fire. I think he scored around 17 goals this season. And it's been a difficult watch. We've seen Dominic Calvert-Lewin almost hit double figures. He bagged as well last night. I know from the penalty spot, but I think he's had 9 for the season. And we would have liked some of that. And I think if we had those goals, maybe we won't be where we are. Maybe we would be punching a little bit further. But for me, we're at least 7 players, 6, 7 players away from probably pushing for a European spot. So we're not there yet, Blues, and we are on this roller coaster. David Moyes has frustrated me over this festive Christmas period. And it goes to show, obviously, when the players are missing, we're going to struggle. The impact that Keenan Dewsbury-Hall offers Everton is a lot. I think we saw glimpses last night of Harrison Armstrong, the ilk of player that lad's at, and where he's going to reach. I think he's going to be a good one, a proper baller. And I can see a bright future for him and for Everton with him. I think he could build some good partnership with Keenan Dewsbury-Hall. Look very similar to me. Do you know what I mean? From last night's performance. So, you know, this weekend's going to be tough, but let's just talk about last night. Um, Such a frustrating watch. So disappointing that Everton couldn't capitalise on the earliest goal from Michael King, striker's instinct kind of finish. And, you know, if we would have got that second, obviously he's hit the post as well. Honestly, we talk amongst ourselves, don't we, Blues? Like, let's just stick him up front. Let's see if we can convert him into a striker because he has got a natural instinct for it, you know? So, but we were unlucky to not go two up. I think we looked all right in that period. Um, and then obviously in the second half, I think we almost like Wolves had the ball too much. And, you know, they've made some adjustments and some changes. Um, Sean Larson's come on and he's assisted, he's created that goal. They've opened up the play in midfield. Jake O'Brien looks at fault as well for me for not tracking his man. And, you know, Wolves have found themselves back in the game. And then after that, it's just bonkers what happened. Um, we've heard Tarky's interview. Well, I have, and he's saying, you know, Michael King's not got a bad bone in his body. He wouldn't do anything like that cynically. It's not in his nature. He's not intentionally gone to like pull his hair. He's gone to protect his face, and he's just like grabbed hold of his dreadies, like his hair, whether they're like some sort of braids or dreadlocks. So it was frustrating, but I can understand why he was sent off, but it is harsh. It is bloody harsh. And obviously then Jack Grealish has sarcastically applauded the referee and he's given him another yellow and he sent him off. They were an absolute awful challenge on Harrison Armstrong, um, right through the back of his calf. It was, for me, that needed to be looked at for a potential red card. So the game just didn't go in our favour. I think the referee was appalling last night. Um, I do. I mean, obviously, the sendings off, I get them, but you know, VAR as well, not looking at that challenge um, on Harrison Armstrong. It were awful. It were really, really poor. So a lot of frustrations. The frustrations were mounting, and Jack Grealish has, you know, tipped it off by showing his frustration, and I think we were all feeling it in the stand. And I think we were frustrated as well with the lineup in general. You know, the starting 11. I know he can't change much, but I think we wanted to see. I went in with um, my opening video of my pre-match preview, and you know, I wanted two scenarios. I either wanted Nathan Patterson there at right back, and Jimmy Gardner if not, because I feel we could have played Merlin Roll as a 10 and Harrison Armstrong and Timmy Raburam in midfield. But he went with neither. And you know, he went for Dwight McNeil on the right hand side, and obviously Jake O'Brien again at right back. And do you know what? I just don't see how Dwight McNeil warrants a start. And listen, I know Tyler Diblin got hurled off at half time against Brentford, but none of us were great on that day. You know, Tarkovsky set the tone for that day, and you know, just to think he's getting in ahead of him when I know he's a young lad, spent over like 42 million pounds on him. I don't know. He needs a chance, and this was a period where he needed that chance, and we needed to show a little bit of faith in him. I feel that for the Forest game, that Tyler Diblin and Nathan Patterson was forming a bit of chemistry down that right hand side, bit of a partnership. I thought he put a decent shift in against Burnley as well. So Moyes has gone with what he's gone, and he has. He's frustrated me, boys. I think he's frustrated many of us, and I think the squad depth as a whole does and has. We understand when everyone's fit and back. Everton have improved vastly. You know, we're in a better position than we've been in a long time. So it takes me on to Saturday. We know who's missing already. We're not going to have Jack Grealish either. We're not going to have Michael Keane. David Moyes, for me, he's forced. He's forced to play. I think we're hoping he is forced to play the back four that played against Forest. Nathan Patterson, Jake O'Brien, Michael Keane, Mikalenko. Then obviously we're into midfield. I think it'll be Tim, Iraburum, Jimmy Gardner, and I don't know. Merlin Roll maybe as a 10. I don't know. He might go for Harrison Armstrong. He might try Harrison Armstrong over to the right hand side and play Merlin Roll in there. But I think we are going to be seeing Dwight McNeil over to the left again. And then probably he might try Beto. There's not many changes we can make. Maybe Sunderland make those changes. They've got a lot of players off at the AFCON as well. I said last night in my content, when emotions were running high, would it be a bad thing if Everton got knocked out of the FA Cup? And I can't believe I'm saying that. I can't believe I'm thinking that. If you purchase your ticket, I know for a fact I'm up early, Saturday morning, and you're usually looking forward to going to the game, and I am, of course I am, but I'm apprehensive at the minute. It's a tough watch. It's a frustrating watch, and I am gutted at the way things are playing out for us at the minute, Blues. I don't think we're creating a lot of chances. I think we're too slow. Jack looks lovely. On the ball, he looks lovely. But sometimes it's just a bit too slow. And I don't know. We just don't move the ball fast enough. So we try to create a little bit of tempo, but it's a lot going from right to left in a deeper manner. I don't think we move the ball fast enough. Blue. So that's where we're at. That's where we're at. That's where we are. The saving grace is we surely feel that Kieran Dewsbury Hall is going to be. It's closer. We're getting there. Jared Branthwaite as well, coming back. It's going to be difficult to get up to speed, but the lad is an athlete. Jared Branthwaite is a top player. And even though Michael Keane's done a great job, we've missed him. We've missed him. We've been vulnerable in periods. Newcastle, Tottenham, Brentford at home. There's been some disappointing results at home, Blues. It really has. I had a conversation last night with a lad. I met a new lad, my son last night, and I said I got slated for this. I said I did on my channel. I brought it up in the pre-season in the transfer window in the summer. I said, why don't Everton just bring in Jamie Vardy? Still got pace. I know he's aging. He knows what net is. So, but obviously that didn't happen. And, I think Everton need, and I was having this conversation again last night, I get it where you're buying for the future. You're buying for lads who are 23, 24 for the future, big sell-ons, etc. But we need some players ready now to nurture and teach those players. And you got Beto educating Barry educating Beto. They've barely played in the Premier League long enough. And let's be honest, obviously Beto hasn't set the world alight. He came up with some decent goals last season. Could Callum Wilson be a shout, Blues? Short term, and we know we need fullbacks. And it sounds like a wild card, let's bring in Callum Wilson, but we need some goals. And he has. He's got 4. He's contributed to 5 goals for West Ham. And I've read that he's not wanted. He's got 4 goals and 1 assist. It just gives us another dynamic, another dimension, somebody else. The bench needs thickening up. The squad needs building. We need to build building blocks. We're not going to bring in the best players yet. We're not. We've had flashes of names like Jack Grealish and what Kieran Dewsbury all achieved for Chelsea and so on. You know, they've come from trophy winning clubs. Take those players out. Who else is there? The transfer window is important, and you know, we need to see something positive coming in, boys. We really do. So, listen, Saturday's going to be tough. This period's been tough for us, and after this Saturday, we've got Villa coming up, and then we're hopefully going to have Njai back, and Idrissa Gana Gueye. I mean, if they get knocked out on Friday night, then they'll be back for the Villa game. Because it won't go to a third and fourth place. But I think Senegal will go through. I think they'll reach the final. I hope they win. I do. I hope they win. And message to the board, message to Everton. We need some players, boys. We do. It's frightening, to be honest. It's frightening to see that bench. League One McNeil just not good enough. Timur Aburam's improving. He's a player. He's going to get better. Idrissa Gana Gueye coming back. The age that he's at, he needs replacing. Somebody, a younger Idrissa needs to come in. We have to be scouring this market, Blues, and this period has taught us that. Even though we knew anyway, it has taught us that. So, Blues, I've had some amazing comments recently on my content. And I really appreciate those kind words. Really, really does mean a lot to me. Building this content, producing this content on this new channel, even though I only create, it still feels new, even though I've been running since last year. So I appreciate it, boys. So, feel free to give us a thumbs up on this one and drop in your comments. Once you like the video, there's a little option where you can hype the video, and it'll just help algorithms and just for us to grow as a channel. I'm a one-man band. It's just me, little old me. I don't come with a team of podcasters or anything like that. It's just me. So again, I'm going to leave this one there. Up the toffees, and I'll see you in the next one.